Hello friends, welcome to This Week in JavaScript, where I share things that I found interesting. We'll be looking at an article making the case for Tailwind, how to test non-exported functions, RSLint, a new linter written in Rust, a self-hosted file storage called AmpliBox, remix and cache control, and be sure to stay tuned to the end for our community shoutout. But first, a quick word from our sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by me. What? Because if I'm not willing to promote myself, then who will? So if you're interested in JavaScript or web development in general, head on over to my blog at joel.net. Check out my many articles I've got there. I'm going to try and post as often as I can. I've just started out. And be sure to subscribe to my newsletter to stay up to date with any new articles I'm posting. And that is at the impossibly awesome domain, joel.net. And when I can carve out some free time, I'm making coding videos over on YouTube on my Joel Codes channel. If you stop by, be sure to say hi in the comments. Okay, enough with the sponsor, let's get on with it. So the first article I'd like to highlight is called Why Tailwind CSS. And I found this one pretty interesting because he goes on to state that initially he thought Tailwind caused ugly and unreadable class name soup. He later on, after shipping a few projects, he changed his opinion to say, Tailwind is easier to learn than I thought, and the CSS and JS's flexibility can be a negative. So one of the reasons that I really like this article is because it comes from the perspective of a Tailwind skeptic who, after launching a couple of projects, went on to really like Tailwind. So if you're on the fence about using Tailwind or you're just curious, head over on to Why Tailwind CSS and check this article out. Next up is testing non-exported functions in JavaScript. It's difficult to test functions that aren't exported, so a lot of times just for unit testing, we'll export those functions. So in this article by Samantha Ming, she covers how to do exactly this, how to unit test functions that are not exported. There's a tool that's commonly used called Rewire, but in her article, she actually uses something different, a Babel plugin for Rewire. She goes through her whole setup as well as a couple of gotchas. So if you're interested in unit testing non-exported functions, head over to her article and check it out. Another project that's been interesting is RSLint, which is a new linter written in Rust. It's still pretty early, so I wouldn't use this over ESLint as of right now, but the project has been pretty interesting, so I'm tracking the progress of it and I'm pretty excited for it. And another project that's pretty cool is AmpliBox. This is self-hosted file storage, so consider something like Dropbox, but you're hosting it yourself. There's a demo on the site that's pretty cool. I'd recommend checking it out. You can clone the GitHub repo, and you can host your very own Dropbox on your own S3 bucket. And this YouTube video is all sorts of awesome. Ryan Florence covers some fundamental concepts like etag and caching, and how that's handled in the browser. And the novel thing about this YouTube video is that it does it completely without any sort of framework like Express or even Remix. He just uses the raw HTTP server. And I find that without these extra layers on top, it's really easy to understand how these things work and how you can leverage them in your application. So it looks like this cache control will be automatic and part of Remix, but I'd recommend anybody working with web servers today to check out this video. And this week's shout out goes to the YouTube channel Devs Like Us. At the time of this recording, they have 80 subscribers, which is far too low for the amount of quality content that they've got on here. They have things like work-life balance, self-taught versus boot camps versus college, the story of a cloud developer, and it's all run like a podcast style. I think this is one of those hidden gems on YouTube that people just have yet to discover. So head over to their channel and show them a little support by subscribing. And that'll do it for This Week in JavaScript. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.